I found out my own mother told our entire family I was dead when I walked into a little brick church on a rainy Tuesday and heard her sobbing into a microphone, calling me my sweet girl and gone too soon, while my photo was displayed on an easel next to a closed casket that apparently existed for the sole purpose of convincing everyone in that room that I no longer existed. I know how insane that sounds, and if you told me a month ago that I'd be sitting here typing this, I would have laughed in your face, because my mom is the kind of woman who posts inspirational quotes on Facebook and brings casseroles to sick neighbors and likes to tell people, family is all we have. She's also the kind of woman who will smile while she's setting your life on fire, then act offended when you cough from the smoke. For context, I'm 40, divorced, and I have one kid, my son Noah, who's 12. I work in claims for an insurance company, which means I spend my days reading other people's worst days and trying to sound calm while they yell at me. I'm not rich, I'm not helpless, I'm just normal. I pay my rent, I pack lunches, I forget to defrost chicken sometimes. I do not have becoming officially deceased on my 2026 bingo card. My mom Linda is 66. She's always cared what people think like it's oxygen. Our whole family is built around her image. If Linda looks like a devoted mother, a grieving widow, a woman who did her best, then everything is fine. If Linda looks bad, then reality has to bend until she looks good again. I didn't fully understand how far she'd go until I heard my own eulogy. It started with a text message from my cousin Kelsey, who I haven't spoken to in 2 years because she took my mom's side in my divorce like it was a team sport. The text said, "I'm so sorry. I had no idea. I wish we could have fixed things. Rest easy, Em." My name is Emily. I stared at the message like it was in another language. I wrote back, "What are you talking about?" No response. Then I got another message, this time from a number I didn't recognize, with a screenshot of a Facebook post. A photo of my mom holding a framed picture of me as a teenager, mascara running down her face, captioned, "My daughter Emily passed away unexpectedly. Please keep our family in your prayers." Memorial service Tuesday at 11 a.m. at Grace Fellowship. Under it were dozens of comments. People crying. People saying they loved me. People talking about how she was always such a bright light. One woman wrote, "I remember her from VBS, such a sweet girl. I hadn't been to Vacation Bible School since the Clinton administration. I felt my stomach drop so hard I thought I might throw up. I called my mom immediately. Straight to voicemail. I called again. Voicemail. I called my aunt. No answer. I called my brother Tyler, who is 35 and has spent most of his adult life pretending he's Switzerland until it inconveniences him. He finally picked up on the fourth call. "What?" he snapped like I was interrupting something important. "Why is Mom telling people I'm dead?" I said, and my voice sounded weird, thin, like it didn't belong to me. Silence. Then Tyler exhaled. "Oh my God," he said. "You saw it." "Yes, Tyler," I said. "I saw it. I'm apparently dead. Do you want to explain?" "Mom said she said you had an accident," he mumbled. "She said you didn't want people bothering Noah and you, so she told everyone to give space." "An accident?" I repeated. "I'm at Target right now. I'm buying cereal. I'm not in an accident. I'm alive." Tyler's voice got tense. "Okay, look, I don't know what she's doing," he said. "But don't go nuclear, okay? Just talk to her." "I'm trying," I said. "She won't answer." "She's probably overwhelmed," he said automatically, because that's his default setting. My mother is always overwhelmed, never accountable. Then he lowered his voice. She's been having money problems." The word money hit like a bell. My mom's money problems have been my problem since I was 18. She's the queen of small emergencies that somehow become your responsibility. I'm short on the mortgage. My card got declined. I don't know why the bank is calling. And if you help, she's grateful for about 12 minutes, then she acts like it was owed. If you don't help, she tells everyone you abandoned her. "What kind of money problems?" I asked. Tyler hesitated. "There's stuff," he said. "Just come to the service Tuesday. She'll be there. You can talk to her in person." You want me to come to my own memorial service, I said. That's your plan. It's not a memorial service for you if you're there, Tyler said, like that was clever. I hung up. I sat in my car in the parking lot and stared at the church address. I should have handled it like a sane person, called the church, reported the post, demanded she take it down, maybe even called the police. But something in me snapped into a different mode. Not rage. Not panic. Curiosity mixed with dread. Why would my mother do something this extreme? You don't accidentally announce your child's death to everyone you've ever known. You do that because you want something and you think this is the cleanest way to get it. So yes, I drove to the church on Tuesday. I brought Noah to school like normal, kissed his forehead, told him I had a weird family thing to deal with and I'd pick him up later. Then I drove to Grace Fellowship with my hands sweating on the wheel, feeling like I was about to walk into a movie where I didn't know the genre. The parking lot was full. People I recognized from childhood. People I hadn't seen in decades. My mom's church friends. My dad's old coworkers. I sat in my car for a minute and watched them file in, carrying casseroles and tissue boxes, hugging each other with that solemn performative tenderness people do in public grief. Then I got out and walked in. The moment the heavy church doors closed behind me, I heard my mother's voice. Emily was my first baby, she was saying, and her tone was so perfectly broken it almost impressed me. She made me a mother. She was stubborn, yes, but she had a heart. She had a heart so big I used to worry it would break her. The room murmured sympathetically. I stood in the back, frozen. Up front there was a closed casket. I'm not even sure if there was anything inside it. There was a flower arrangement the size of a small car. There was my photo on an easel. It wasn't recent, which should have been clue number 1 to the audience. It was from when I was 23, smiling at a family barbecue, before life carved lines into my face. My mom was at the pulpit, dressed in black, hair curled, makeup done, looking like she'd stepped into the role she craved. The tragic, devoted mother. Tyler sat in the front pew with his head down like he was ashamed, which was new for him. My aunt was dabbing her eyes. People were crying. Actual tears. For me. For a version of me my mother had edited and packaged into something palatable. I don't know how long I stood there before someone noticed me. It was my old Sunday school teacher, Mrs. Hollis, who turned, saw my face, and made a small strangled sound like a balloon popping. Her hand flew to her mouth. The woman next to her turned. Then another. A wave of heads started swiveling. Confusion spread through the room like a spill. My mom kept speaking for a few seconds, not realizing what was happening, until her voice faltered. She looked up. Her eyes found me. And for one split second, her face did something I will never forget. It wasn't relief. It wasn't joy. It was pure startled anger, like I'd caught her cheating. Then she recovered so fast it was almost art. She gasped dramatically, hand to chest. "Emily," she whispered into the microphone, and the room erupted into chaos. People stood up. Someone screamed. Someone else laughed, hysterical. I started walking down the aisle because my body needed movement, needed to get closer to the source of this insanity. My mom stepped back from the pulpit like she might faint. Tyler stood halfway, eyes wide. "Oh my God," my aunt said over and over. My mom's pastor rushed forward, palms out. "Emily," he said, voice shaking. What is going on?" I reached the front and turned to face the room, because suddenly everyone's eyes were on me like I was the miracle and the problem at the same time. "I'm alive," I said, loud enough to cut through the noise. "I don't know why my mother told you I'm dead. I'm trying to find out." A murmur surged. People looked at my mom. My mom's mouth opened and closed like she was deciding which lie would land best. Then she did what she always does. She made it about my instability. "Emily," she said, voice trembling. "Honey, you're confused. You're not well. Don't do that," I said, and my voice came out sharper than I meant, but I was done playing. "Don't turn this into me being not well. You posted that I died. You scheduled a service. You put a casket in a church. Explain." My mom's eyes filled with tears instantly, like a faucet she controls. I didn't want it like this, she whispered. I was trying to protect you. From what? I demanded. Tyler finally stepped forward, grabbing my arm. Em, can we talk outside? He begged. No, I said, shaking him off. No more back rooms. No more outside. She did this in public. She can answer in public. The pastor cleared his throat, panicked. Perhaps we should. No, I repeated. And the room went quiet in that way where everyone can sense the real story is about to spill. I looked at my mom. Tell them, I said. Why did you tell people I was dead? My mom stared at me, then at the crowd, calculating. Emily has been having troubles, she said finally. She asked for space. She asked me not to tell anyone where she was. She said she didn't want anyone contacting her. And then there was an incident and I thought, you thought I died, I said flatly. In your imagination. I got a call, she insisted. A call from someone at the hospital. They said, name the hospital, I said. Name the person. Give details. My mom's face tightened. She couldn't. She pivoted. This isn't the time, she said, voice cracking. We're here to mourn. You're here to perform, I said, and I could feel my hands shaking, but the words kept coming. This is a stage for you. So I'm going to say it plainly. I'm alive. I'm fine. And if my mother has been telling people otherwise, it's because she wants something. That's when my phone buzzed. A notification from my bank app. Account temporarily restricted due to deceased account holder report. Please contact support. My blood turned to ice. It wasn't just Facebook. It wasn't just church gossip. She had taken this into the real world, into systems that can ruin you with one wrong entry. Oh, I said, and I held up my phone like a smoking gun. This isn't just a lie for attention. My bank just flagged my account because someone reported me dead. The room gasped again. My mom's eyes flicked to the phone, and there it was again for half a second. That flash of anger because I'd found the thread she didn't want pulled. I turned to Tyler. Did Mom do something with my accounts? I asked. Tyler looked away. That was answer enough. I looked back at my mom. What did you do? I said. My mom's voice got small. I was trying to fix things, she whispered. Fix what? I said. The bills, she blurted, like ripping off a bandage. The bills were out of control. After your father died, everything got harder. You know that. I didn't want to lose the house. I didn't want to be a burden. I just needed time. Time, I repeated. So you killed me. People shifted uncomfortably. A few of my mom's church friends looked like they might vomit. My aunt made a strangled sound. Linda, she hissed. What did you do? My mom's shoulders shook like she was the victim. I didn't mean for it to go this far, she said. I opened a card in Emily's name years ago because mine was maxed and I needed to pay for the roof, and then another one, and then I always planned to pay it back. Then the interest. My ears rang. You opened credit cards in my name, I said, and my voice went strangely calm, because sometimes your brain goes numb before it breaks. My mom sobbed harder. I'm your mother, she said, like that was a legal defense. I did everything for you. You stole my identity, I said. And when it caught up to you, you decided I couldn't be alive to dispute it. Tyler finally spoke, voice shaking. He said. Collections started calling. Like a lot. They were threatening to sue. Mom said if they thought you were dead, they'd pause. Or something. She thought it would buy time. Buy time. That was the phrase that made it click. She wasn't just lying to save face. She was trying to stop consequences. If creditors thought I was dead, the pressure would shift. If I was dead, I couldn't show up and say, that wasn't me. If I was dead, she could play grieving mother instead of guilty thief. Did you file an obituary? I asked, staring at my mom. She wiped her cheeks, sniffing. I had to make it real, she whispered. People ask questions. So you made it real, I said. You made a whole fake death so no one would question you. The pastor looked like he wanted to disappear into the carpet. We should end this service, he said weakly. Nobody moved. Everyone wanted the ending. My mom tried one last pivot. Emily, she cried, reaching for me. Please don't do this to me. Not here. Not in front of everyone. You know I love you. I stepped back. If you loved me, I said, voice shaking now, you wouldn't have tried to erase me to save yourself. Then my Aunt Denise, bless her, stepped forward like a woman ready to throw hands in a church. Linda, she snapped, did you report her deceased to any agencies? Social Security? Her employer? Insurance? My mom's face went pale. That answer was a confession. I felt bile rise. My employer. My insurance license. My kids' school paperwork. If my death got logged in the wrong place, I could lose my job, my ability to pay rent, everything. You told my job? I asked, and my voice was barely a whisper. Tyler's mouth tightened. She called HR. He admitted, miserable. She said you died and they should send final paycheck paperwork to Mom because she was handling arrangements. My vision narrowed. People in the room were murmuring, some angry now, some whispering my name like they were apologizing. My mom's best friend, a woman named Cheryl who used to pinch my cheeks as a kid, looked at my mom like she was a stranger. Linda, she said, horrified, you told us to bring food. My mom sobbed. I didn't want to be alone, she whispered. And there it was. The real core. Not money. Not even shame. Control and attention, the two drugs my mother can't live without. She had built a scene where she was surrounded, comforted, pitted, supported, while the messy truth stayed buried under flowers. I pulled out my phone and called my bank right there in front of the casket because I was done being polite. While I sat on the front pew listening to hold music, my mom sank into a chair like a collapsed actress after the curtain falls. The bank rep finally picked up. I explained slowly that I was alive and someone had reported me deceased. They asked for verification questions, then told me I would need to come into a branch with ID and also provide documentation to reverse a deceased indicator that had been triggered by a third-party report. Who reported it? I asked. We can't disclose that, the rep said, and I almost laughed because, of course, my mother can torch your life and the system will protect her privacy. I hung up and looked at the crowd. I'm sorry you were dragged into this, I said, loud enough for everyone. I'm alive. If you need proof, I can show you my driver's license. And if you brought food, please keep it. Take it home. Donate it. Don't give my mother another reason to play the victim. The room shifted. People started standing, gathering purses, whispering. Some came up and hugged me like they were trying to make up for believing the lie. Others avoided my mom's eyes like she was contagious. Tyler hovered near me, pale. He whispered. Please don't call the cops. I looked at him. Why not? I asked. Because she's Mom, he said, desperate. She's sick. She didn't think it through. She thought it through enough to buy a casket, I said. She thought it through enough to call my HR department. Tyler flinched. My Aunt Denise leaned in and said quietly, do what you have to do. She did this, not you. I left the church with my heart pounding and drove straight to my bank, then straight to my office. HR looked at me like they'd seen a ghost, which apparently they had. My manager pulled me into a conference room and said, Emily, we received notice that you passed. We were preparing paperwork. I sat there with my jaw clenched and said, my mother lied. I'm alive. I need you to note in my file that any communication from her is not authorized. My manager's face hardened. This is beyond inappropriate, she said, and for the first time in the whole situation, I felt like an adult in authority was actually on my side. Over the next week, I learned the damage wasn't just emotional. My credit report showed accounts I didn't recognize. Collection agencies had notes about deceased. One of the cards had been opened when I was 22. My mother had been using my name for almost 2 decades, quietly, steadily, while telling everyone I was so irresponsible with money. The irony would have been funny if it hadn't been my life. I confronted my mom at her house 2 days later, not to scream but to get answers. She sat at her kitchen table, eyes puffy, playing Fragile. "I made a mistake," she whispered. "A mistake is forgetting someone's birthday," I said. "You held a funeral for me." "I was desperate," she said, and then she did what she always does. She tried to make me responsible for her feelings. "Please don't take Noah away from me. Don't punish me like that. I love him." "You used my death to get casseroles and sympathy," I said. "You don't get to talk to me about love like you understand it." My mom's face twisted. "You've always been dramatic," she snapped suddenly, the mask slipping. "You've always wanted to make me look bad." And there it was again, the real her. Not remorseful, angry that I was alive to contradict her story. I walked out. I filed a police report. Not because I wanted my mother in handcuffs, but because I needed a paper trail to clean up the mess she created. I froze my credit. I contacted the credit bureaus. I spent hours on the phone saying the words, "I am alive," like it was a job title. I explained to Noah in the gentlest way I could that Grandma had told a lie, and that we were taking a break from seeing her for a while. He stared at me and said, "So she wanted you gone?" "Not gone," I said, swallowing hard. "Quiet." He nodded like he understood too well. The hardest part wasn't the paperwork. It was grieving the idea of a mother I could trust. Because once someone is willing to tell the world you're dead to save themselves, there's nothing sacred left. I'm writing this now because my family is split. Some relatives say, "She's your mother, you can't do this to her," as if I'm the one who started the fire by refusing to be ash. Others say, "Thank God you're okay," then whisper, "I always wondered why Linda was always asking about your social security number." Tyler says I'm taking it too far, because he's terrified of being the next person Mom sacrifices. My mom tells people I showed up at the service to humiliate her, like I was the villain for refusing to stay dead. So I need to know what other people think because my brain keeps looping on the same question at 3 a.m. If your mother publicly announced you were dead, held a memorial service, and used your death to buy herself time while creditors closed in on debt she racked up in your name, would you do what I did and file reports, cut contact, and refuse to let her near your child until every last piece is untangled, even if it means your family calls you heartless and says you destroyed your own mother? Or would you swallow it, let her cry and apologize, quietly clean up the financial mess yourself, and keep pretending she's just a flawed woman who made a bad choice instead of someone who was willing to erase you because you were inconveniently alive?